They told us every Hermes Birkin was born in a quiet French workshop, stitched by artisans in white coats under the glow of vintage lamps, each bag a masterpiece crafted over 20 sacred hours. But what if that fairy tale was a carefully packaged illusion? What if your $20,000 Birkin shares the same birthplace as a $12 tote from AliExpress? For years, Hermes sold a fantasy of exclusivity. Pristine ateliers, soft jazz floating through the air, craftsmen who've trained for decades. That was the image buyers paid for. The reality? It's looking more like cold, fluorescent lights in factories across Shandong, China, where workers have been perfecting handbag manufacturing for over 50 years. These factories don't just churn out random knockoffs. They produce up to 80% of the world's luxury handbags, supplying not only Hermes, but Chanel, Prada, and even brands you'd never guess like IKEA. And then came the plot twist nobody expected. Tanner Leatherstein. He isn't just another TikTok gossip. He's a scalpel-wielding truth-teller who buys designer bags, slices them open on camera, and breaks down what's really inside. Tanner's investigations uncovered that the actual cost to make a Birkin is around $600. Leather, hardware, labor, everything. Yet Hermes sells them for as much as $38,000. Let that sink in. That's a markup so staggering it makes you wonder if you're buying craftsmanship or just paying for the label. As Tanner's videos gained traction and Chinese factories began leaking receipts, contracts, and behind-the-scenes clips, Hermes freaked out. They went from croissants to courtrooms overnight, launching lawsuits accusing their own suppliers of defamation and intellectual property violations. It wasn't just an attempt to protect secrets, it was a desperate bid to save a reputation built on stories of French hands and heritage. What really set the internet on fire wasn't just the revelations about Hermes. It was realizing that this was an industry-wide illusion. Factories producing Hermes bags were also stamping out goods for Chanel, Prada, Louis Vuitton. Even luxury boots indistinguishable from Uggs sold for $5 fresh off the same line. Dupes weren't always imitations. They were often identical products missing only the brand name. Meanwhile, celebrities played their part perfectly. Cardi B let her daughter scribble on a Birkin like it was a coloring book. Kylie Jenner stacked Birkins like decor on a bookshelf, flexing luxury as easily as flipping a light switch. But behind these glamorous Instagram shots lies a question. How many of these bags were free gifts or worse, not even authentic? Stylists have been caught dressing clients in dupes while tagging real brands, chasing invitations and clout in a game where perception trumps reality. Even Kendall Jenner has been spotted with fakes. And whether she knew or cared is anyone's guess, because in the end, it's the illusion that sells. For the brands, there's a simple trick at play. Manufacture the bulk of the bag overseas, add a button or stitch a seam in Europe, then stamp it made in France or made in Italy. Voila! Luxury label laundering. And it worked brilliantly for years until the US slapped tariffs on Chinese imports and forced brands to show their receipts. Suddenly, the sparkle of a European label lost its shine as customers realized they'd been buying products mass-produced in the same factories that churn out Amazon accessories. This bombshell shook the resale market. Prices for used Birkins, once reliable investments, started to slip. Buyers became cautious, no longer confident they were paying for exclusivity or true craftsmanship. If a dupe feels the same and even holds up better than the real thing, what's left but the fantasy? Yet Hermes isn't quietly licking its wounds. The brand is in full attack mode, suing suppliers, ramping up PR, and trying to plug the leaks before the entire luxury myth collapses. But the internet doesn't forget, and the receipts are everywhere. Each lawsuit, each desperate spin, only draws more eyes to the truth brand spent decades hiding. Because here's the kicker. The second consumers realize they're paying a fortune for an illusion, not an heirloom, the luxury game collapses. Hermes scrambles. Louis Vuitton sweats. Chanel stays silent, praying their secrets remain buried. And the question now hangs in the air, would you still pay thousands for a purse made in the same factory that ships out $11 phone chargers? Or has your faith in luxury labels started to crack? So hit like if your eyes are open now, subscribe if you're ready for more chaos, and drop a comment. Should celebrities be held accountable for pushing overpriced fantasies? Or is the entire luxury industry just one giant designer lie waiting to unravel? The rabbit hole goes deeper than you think. And what's coming next will make this look like child's play